Yes, you're pretty.
Thank you. I don't know what to say. The parakeets are doing their squeaks. And they're so cool. I have been thinking, when the parakeets aren't squeaking, I've been thinking about trust, self-trust, and how, I was going to say how it's developed, but at the same time, I think we do develop self-trust, and I think that should happen in childhood when we're really young. I don't think it does for many people, myself included, and how the personal development industry, coaching, mentors, gurus and spirituality, they don't all necessarily, my husband's just sitting here working, they don't all necessarily actually help with self-trust. So many people are out there talking about how they have authority. Every coach is telling every other coach to claim authority, have like have certainty. Just have it. No, forget why you do or don't have it, whether there's a genuine reason why you don't have certainty is because you're not grounded in what you know. You may know a lot of things, but if you don't have a groundedness in them, then maybe teaching them isn't the best idea, because you're not teaching them from a fully embodied place. And maybe teaching them is a good idea, and teaching them is how you find yourself in the grounded embodied place. Like I don't know, and I don't pretend like I have the answers, although I will sometimes pretend to have the answers because I'm a human and I'm also one of these people that I'm talking about. So I guess I kind of know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these people, because I have been and am at times one of these people. But the reason I am great and I am different, which is both true and not true, is that I have an awareness of it, and now I didn't before, and I have integrity around it, and I really am conscious of not talking about things or trying to teach on them when I have no place to do so. Even if I have read the books and gone to the workshops and I can parrot off all the right things, if it's not really real for me, then I don't want to talk about it anymore, because it doesn't feel right and it feels icky and it's a waste of my time, it's a waste of other people's time. And I think in the past I was doing it to try and make myself feel better, and I was trusting coaches, business coaches, life coaches, self-love coaches. I was trusting other people instead of trusting myself. And no one knew me better than me. And when they say the best coaches, life coaches or whatever coach, like personal development coaches, are the ones who are very curious and just ask you questions without assumptions. It's just so deeply, completely true. And it goes beyond the mind. It goes into a space of, if no one's telling me what to do, what to think, how I should be, but just giving me a space to express and reflect and explore and process every experience, every choice, every mistake, every heartbreak. If I'm with someone who can just help me see what happened, what worked and what didn't work, not what's right and wrong, but what worked and what didn't work, and what patterns maybe have caused that, and not necessarily even trying to change that pattern, but just bringing awareness to it and seeing that no one was choosing that pattern. There is no one who is trying to self-sabotage. There is literally no one trying to self-sabotage. That's a whole other video. Maybe it's part of this one. But self-sabotage and self-trust, sounds like a weird word now. They feel really related to me. Self-sabotage feels like something you can only believe in when you believe there is something wrong with yourself or something wrong with the world. Because when you come into the paradigm of there is nothing wrong, everything is in its rightful place, doesn't mean it's comfortable or nice, doesn't mean it works, doesn't mean we like it. I mean, it can include war and all the horrible things, like the worst things you can think of. Somehow that's included in the perfection of life. I don't like it. It doesn't mean I want it. It doesn't mean I would choose it. It doesn't mean that there's any preference or liking of all of these things. But just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's not correct in some way. We don't like death as a society nowadays, but that doesn't mean that death is bad. It's not like life equals good, death equals bad. I got off track. But when we're in that space of thinking that self-sabotage is real, we are seeing that life maybe isn't good. There's something wrong with it. There's something wrong with us. There's something in me that wants something bad to happen to me, which makes zero sense. Humans, any life force isn't ever out to hurt itself. It's only ever out to protect itself based on the experiences, the knowledge, the wisdom of this life, of past lives, of our ancestors, of the people around us, of society, of the kind of birth that we had, the upbringing we had, the amount of light that we got, the chemicals in our food, the amount of nutrition or not. All of these things have a massive impact. And if you think about how much is going on, there's no goddamn way that we're ever gonna fully understand everything, because by the time we understand something, everything's changed anyway. Oh goodness, I get off track so easily. What? Self-trust. It comes when we have someone else trusting us, even in the pain, even in the dark moments, even in the worst thoughts, the worst moments, the darkest, most shameful, all the worst things. When someone stays with us and loves us anyway, I just realized I was looking at my face and not the camera. I don't know what to do now. When someone loves us or stays and is in that space of safety, it's like, hey, I'm here. There's a connection, and the connection is not dropping. It's not going anywhere because you're having these things. And I'm not going to fix you. I'm not going to change you. I'm not going to even try and change how you feel. Even though obviously there's a preference for someone not to be suffering, we don't have to be the one to change it, because if you trust life, you know that change is inevitable. Everything moves, everything shifts. So I don't need to change someone's suffering. That will change on its own when that person is loved. And that's trust. And that encourages self-trust. That's what self-trust, where how can someone else encourage self-trust? Well, they can tell, it's not just what they do, it's what they don't do. It's instead of authorities, going back to the external authorities telling us they know better. Parents will often tell us that they know better. Sometimes they do, but not a lot. As we grow up, we need to rely on ourselves, our own experiences, of life, our own sensations, our own bodily sensations. Like, I swear, if kids were encouraged to feel and notice their body sensations, they would make different choices. If you gave a kid a pile of sweets and said, and really had them enjoy those sweets and notice, hey, do you notice after you eat those sweets, you have so much energy? And then not very long afterwards, what happens? Then I'm really sleepy and I notice I'm a bit grumpy. Okay, and what happens the next day? Well, then my belly hurts. Okay, cool. Do you want to do that again? And sometimes they'll say yes. And we can't, obviously there's so many different things to do and ways, and life comes up. But if kids were encouraged to feel their sensations, notice what's happening in their body, in their emotions, when they're given the opportunity to do things, they will probably make different choices because they aren't just blindly doing things. When we're encouraged to actually feel the sensations, feel the emotions, feel the feelings, feel whether it's sadness or guilt. Guilt is a really good emotion. If we feel guilt for something. Sorry, my husband is now getting naked to go into a sauna in the room. Hashtag real life. Oh, naked. Turns the camera. No, I'm kidding. If we were able to do that for ourselves and our kids, then I think we would all have more self-trust, and we can and we will. It's not like we should have done anything different. We are where we are, but I think we can encourage self-trust in each other by having trust in ourselves, trust in the world that shows other people we also have trust in them. I have trust in you watching this, that if you're still watching, then you're supposed to have kept watching. If you've gone, then you won't know I'm saying this. If you share it with someone, then that's what's supposed to happen. If this video gets 0 views and just my friend Caro watches it, then that's cool too. Do I have preferences? 100%. Like, I have preferences. There's an ego, there's a desire to be seen and want people to love me and think that I'm really cool and interesting and profound and brilliant and beautiful and real and yeah, I have like an idea of what I want things to be, but I also know that I have those ideas, and I just trust that whatever will happen, and I don't pretend that I trust all the time. I 100% do not. But as I experienced spending more time over the last few years, particularly with my husband, the naked guy on the floor, who trusts himself and trusts me to know what I need and what I want, to the point where at the beginning of our relationship he'd be like, so what do you want? What do you want to do? What do you like? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And it took me, I'm still figuring it out. Like, what do I want? What do I like? Beyond what I think I should like. Beyond what my mum liked, and I was just copying that because I wanted her to I wanted to feel more wanted. I wanted to feel more things from her, so I took certain behaviors. But what do I want? Really, what do I want? And it's taken me some time. And I didn't have much trust for myself, and I think it's partly because my mum has some fear. She lives in a bit of fear, and I don't think she'll mind me saying that. And I know that because I live in fear a lot of the time. And it's weird because it's in fear, but I feel more like scared. Like, fear feels like this big thing, and it seems less over the last few weeks, but my whole life there's been this constant sense of like, but when's the bad thing gonna happen? Like, when am I gonna get it wrong? When am I gonna fuck it up? When am I gonna lose? When's it gonna stop being, even if it's good, when's it gonna stop being good? Like, just scared someone's gonna nick my stuff, traveling, scared something's gonna happen, just always scared. And because I was scared, I didn't trust myself, I didn't trust the world, And my mum from a very early age would, because she was scared, I think, would tell me what to do. Because she cared and she loved me and she was trying to be like, you do this, this is what will work. And I think that's what I grew up with and that's what I knew. And why did I go to university? Because that's what both my parents did and that's what I was told was right. And then I came out of university and I don't, what do you want to do? I don't know. I have no idea. I bumbled around doing jobs I didn't know if I wanted to do, and I had no self-trust. I really didn't. I was still looking around, and I kind of knew that, okay, I need to not trust my parents to tell me what to do. I need to find myself. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go into personal development and find a coach, and then I just let them tell me what to do. I've let coaches and mentors tell me what to do for so long. Spiritual mentors, spiritual teachers, spiritual mentors, everybody has an opinion on what they think you should do. And if you have grown up without a sense of self-trust and sense of self, really it's a sense of self, I'm calling it self-trust, but it's a sense of self, really. A sense of what's here, not what that person wants, but what's here. What that person wants is also important to have an understanding of, and it can inform what is done, but it doesn't necessarily need to inform what I want. And I can have a strong knowing of what I want, what I don't want, what I like and what I don't like, know someone else's and have those two things meet instead of my wants changing because of someone else's wants. My actions, my decisions changing because that person said that I should do that thing. They think that's right for me. And over the last few years, and particularly the last year, I stopped personal development a while ago. And I guess I stopped spirituality in terms of like the cult of spirituality, it's not a cult, but the ideas, the beliefs around it, and definitely not all of them, because here I am, and I'll probably name this something about spirituality, but yeah, it's self-trust cannot come from outside. It cannot come from a mentor. God bless. It cannot come from a mentor. It cannot come from anyone but you. And the best people to have in your life are people who reflect things back at you, love you, create a sense of safety where you can bounce things off them. And of course you want them to tell them. A safe relationship is where they can tell you what they think, but they don't need you to do what they think you should do. I tell my clients occasionally, hey, I don't think that was a good move. I understand why you did it, but that doesn't sound like a good move to me. Tell me about why it sounds like a good move to you. I really want to know. I really want to understand, because I'm clearly missing something. I don't kind of do it like that so much, but with friends, I'm not like this quiet, like whatever you want, you just do what you want. It's okay, I'm not gonna say anything, I have no opinions. No, my opinions are still valid as someone who loves them, as someone who can see them in a way that sometimes other people can't see themselves. I can't see myself clearly all the time. I do need reflections, I do need interaction and have people help me reflect, but ultimately it comes down to me and my feeling, my alignment, what feels right for me. And the more I come back to me, the more I trust myself. And interestingly, the more I feel able to ask for help, because I'm able to discern what is right for me in what someone else has shared. It's way easier to ask for help now that I have a better sense of trust in myself. Yeah. Okay, I think I've run out. I hope that helps somewhat. I'm supposed to say something about comment, like, share, subscribe, I don't know. I hope this helped in some way. Let me know if it did. It's nice to know. It really helps. I really want to do more of these, but it's scary and I need validation, so please give me some validation.